Yes, sir.
Let's make sure that they all are going this time. Says connected at sports. So guys, you don't have to listen no more on your phones. You should be able to hear everything that I'm playing back for you.
You can start getting just
connected at sports. Still trying to connect to We Play Baseball.
yeah, We Play Baseball is up.
Okay, it just says connecting to me over here. All right, I'm gonna assume that it's still up.
Yeah, it's up. It's up.
Okay. Music. Sorry for the late start, ladies and gentlemen. We want to make sure all of the connections are connecting and doing what it do. We got some heavy hitters in here tonight. Make sure you guys text in, get the info pages going. Get them questions in there. Coach Rod, Carl, Andrew. I think we might have a Franchuk sighting.
I probably know what that is.
All right. We're coming up on a 2-minute warning. You know what that is. Got to get your hot dog and popcorn and get in your seat. Because this next 2 minutes is, we about to bring on one of the hottest shows, podcast shows. All right, somebody's having fun. Is that a ringtone I heard right there?
Slide up.
Yes, sir. You gentlemen are hearing this countdown music?
Yep.
It's going from 0 to 100 real quick. Yes, sir. I'm gonna keep my rundown ready because we about 1 minute out. Hey, Drew, nod your head if you can hear the music. There we go. I like seeing these pictures, man, from all these Hall of Fame ball players on our countdown.
No pictures.
Oh, well, you can't see them right now. You can't see them right now. They're on the playback. But we're about to get started in about 15 seconds. We're about to bring on Mr. Rod White, Coach Rod White.
Ladies and gentlemen, Welcome to the hottest, the baddest baseball podcast, the land of We Play Baseball Podcast. I am your host, Rob White. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to get your questions in today, you can text us at 334-249-2290, or you can tweet us at We Play Baseball with the number 2 behind it. We Play Baseball 2. You can also follow us on Instagram at We Play Baseball Podcast. And up and coming is that great show, that great outlet that we've now partnered with, Sportscaster. You can find us on Sportscaster if you have an iOS phone, an Apple phone. You can download their app and you can listen to us live there. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, welcome to our normal panel is here today. Welcome to the stage, Carl Nichols, Andrew Toussaint, and Orr Frenchuck. And as always, behind the scenes, running the ones and twos and making sure the show is operating properly is our producer, P. Mike, the producer, baby.
Yes, sir. We're here, baby. We're here.
We're in the house. Gentlemen, how you guys doing today?
We're doing well. Doing good.
That's good. That's good. Listen up. Here we are. Guys, we are going to now tell everybody about the podcast one. Then I'll let you guys introduce yourselves. That way everybody knows who we are. We'll do this until the show is consistently running, and everybody that's tuning in know who we are. So we'll do that. So I'll start off by saying the We Play Baseball Podcast is designed, ladies and gentlemen, to provide you with an avenue of information related to the game of baseball, whether that's at the high school level, the collegiate level, or the professional level, guys, and after. That's something we were talking about today. We'll get into the afterlife of baseball and things that you still be involved in baseball. So we'll cover that today as part of our topic. But we'll let these guys kick off who they are. Kick off Carl, Andrew, then Orr.
Carl Nichols, played professionally 18 years or so, I think, including parts of 6 seasons in the major leagues with the Baltimore Orioles and the Houston Astros. Been coaching the past 20 plus years, including USA Baseball, Urban Youth Academy, and other various travel ball and amateur coaching levels. And that's it.
Who else we got?
Andrew Toussaint, I'm the West Coast cross-checker, the New York Mets. Been scouting for the last 8 years. Before that, I worked at the Urban Youth Academy with Carl Nichols. Played in the Angels organization for 5 years, up to AA. Played parts of 2 years in the Japanese League with the SoftBank Hawks, and was drafted out of Southern University.
Orr Frenchuck, over 30 years in professional baseball and 6 different major league organizations: the Dodgers, the Padres, the A's, the Angels, and then kind of my specialty or specialty areas or the pitching, the hitting and the catching areas. That's what I did. I coordinated it, and when I managed and coached. So that's kind of my gig.
All right, and I am Ron White. I am the associate head coach at Texas College, former associate area guy for the Phillies and Red Sox, and I was the assistant coach at Alabama State University. Prior to that, I was in independent ball as a manager, general manager, coach, whatever you want to call it. But I went up and down the ranks in that, so I made it up to general manager, running teams. So that's kind of my background. So guys, we'll get started here now is what we started. We call it our baseball facts for Wednesday, May the 6th. And we'll kind of get that rolling, P, and that way they can see it all. All right, start out today. Baseball history on May 6th includes a total of 52 Major League Baseball players born on that day of the year. 34 Major League Baseball players who died on this day, 87 baseball players who made their Major League debut on this day, and 65 Major League Baseball players who appeared in their final games this day. Babe Ruth on this day in 1915. At the Polo Grounds, Red Sox rookie pitcher Babe Ruth collects 3 hits, including his first home run, homer number 1 as well as homer number 2. He ended up becoming known as the Sultan of SWAT. Up next is Ford Frick. National League president takes a stance on this day in 1947 in a small office high up behind home plate at Ebbets Field. National League president Ford Frick meets with 7 Cardinal players individually, revealing he is aware of their secret plan to strike as a protest to Jackie Robinson's plan for the Dodgers. The usually non-confrontational leader of the senior circuit makes his position clear about the planned boycott, telling the Redbird conspirators they will encounter quick retribution from his office that will include suspensions from baseball. He would later move on to become commissioner of baseball in 1951. Next up is Gaylord Perry. On this day in 1982, Gaylord Perry becomes the 15th Major League player to win his 300th victory when he beats the Yankees at Kingdom 7-3. The Ancient Mariner will end his 22-year career with 314 victories. And here's the video for that.
On May the 6th, 1982, Gaylord Perry 1 out away from 300. The 2-1 pitch to Randolph. Swung on, ground ball to Cruz. This should do it. He's got it. It's over. Gaylord has 300. Everybody mobbing Gaylord Perry as he goes all the way. His teammates come out butt bowling, and Gaylord Perry becomes the 15th man in baseball history to win 300 games as the Mariners beat the Yankees 7-3. My, oh my. The national media, television cameras out, Gaylord Perry with the hat off, saluting these fans in Seattle, saying thank you for coming out. He has done it. Number 300 in the 9th inning for the New York Yankees. It was a typical Perry 1, 2, 3 performance. Gaylord, no runs, no hits, no errors, none left. The Yankees are 1-2-3'd, and they are beaten by Perry 7-3.
Next up, Kerry Woods. On this day in 1998, Cubs rookie Kerry Woods ties a Major League record when he strikes out 20 batters in 9 innings, limiting the Astros to 1 hit and the team's 2-0 at Wrigley 2-0 win at Wrigley Field. In addition to matching Red Sox fireballer Roger Clemens' feat, Mariners 1986 and Tigers 1996, the 20-year-old Texan breaks the National League record of 19 strikeouts in a 9-inning game, shared with Steve Carlton, David Cone, and Tom Seaver. Next, some guys may like this, some guys may not. Jose Altuve is his birthday. Jose Altuve was born on Saturday, May 6, 1990, in McCary, Arguagua, Venezuela. Altuve was 21 years old when he broke into the big leagues on July 20, 2011 with the Houston Astros. On September 28, 2014, Jose Altuve went 2 for 4 in the final game of the year, a 3-8 loss versus the Mets. In the post-game press conference, Altuve said, "That means a lot. That's something that I've been working for, and I'm trying to help my team every day." The hits helped Altuve push his batting average to .341, the highest in the American League, earning him the batting championship, the first of the Houston Astros player to win the batting title. And last but not least, Willie Mays' 89th birthday, guys. Willie Mays' 89th birthday. On this day, the Say Hey Kid, Willie Mays, was born on Wednesday, May 6, 1931, in Westfield, Alabama. Mays attended Fairfield Industrial High School. Fairfield is actually right up the street from Birmingham. It's a suburb of Birmingham. And was 20 years old when he broke into the big leagues on May 25, 1951. With the New York Giants, Mays played in the MLB for 22 seasons and was named to 24 All-Star games. Here's a quick fact. Did you know he was the first player in National League history to join the 30-30 club, 30 home runs, 30 stolen bases. Mays won 12 consecutive Gold Gloves. Starting the year, the award was introduced in 1957 and through 1968, when Mays was inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame in 1979 on his ballot with 94.7% of the votes. New York Daily News columnist Dick Young wrote about the 23 votes who chose not to enshrine Mays. If Jesus Christ were to show up, let me back up. This is what he said. If Jesus Christ were to show up with his old baseball gloves, some guys wouldn't vote for him. He dropped the crosses 3 times, didn't he? Those are pretty scathing comments right there.
Greatest player of his time. Willie unquestionably is one of baseball's greatest base runners.
Man, Willie was cold, man.
Mays catching this one is like a
He looked fast in his black and white.
Watch close, there he goes.
It's so good.
Thanks, Willie.
Happy birthday, Willie. 89, baby.
So say hey, kid.
All right, now I need you to clear up something for the people listening.
Okay.
What happened?
How did Willie Mays play?
24 and 22?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was trying to figure that out myself when I started.
You just gonna let it fly, huh?
I was just going to let it fly. You had to call it out, huh? Hey, that's how they have it written in the stats. I looked at it when I saw it. I said,
No, it's true.
I know, but I let you explain it. Go.
Well, for I don't know how many years they did it, but for a span of a few years, they actually used to play 2 All-Star games in the same year.
Oh,
That's
okay.
right. That's true.
That's how he got 24 and 22.
Yeah.
I think Hank Aaron's the same way.
Actually, you're right. I thought about it. You just thought you're right. Hank Aaron is the same way.
I know I'm right.
Well, okay, Carl, I know you're right.
I wouldn't have brought it up if I wasn't right.
So, with that being said, comments on all of it, whatever you want to talk about. It's open. We got an open floor right now.
Willie was a bad man.
Really was a bad man.
Mm-hmm.
And he was. So here's a quick story. My dad, who's played baseball, Alabama State MVP, and he talked about it the other day on the show that he did, was brought in. You know, he's a Hall of Fame basketball coach, right? And he tells how he goes from playing baseball to coaching basketball. That's a long story, but the person he said that he admired the most, and he tried to mimic his game after, was Willie Mays. So that's kind of my little quick story. Anybody got anything else they want to say here?
For me, the thing that, and I don't know if I heard this right, but he was the first 30-30 guy to be recognized
In the National League.
in the National League.
Yeah, it was the National League. Yeah, National League history to join the first to join the 30-30 club. I guess that's how, with all the stats or whatever they actually kept up with it, he was the first to get it.
He was so bad he was making his own categories. 30-30 wasn't even said.
Exactly.
And he said if they had known they were going to make such a big deal out of it, he would have done it more.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, guys, those are the facts for today. I mean, there were plenty more, but that took up 2 hours worth of time, and I didn't want to go through all of them. But these are kind of some of the ones that stuck out. So, as we said on yesterday, there's baseball going on, gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
The Korean Baseball League, Korean Baseball Organization, I should say, KBO. And here are the scores from yesterday's game. You know they're playing like 2:45, 3 o'clock in the morning, so I don't know if anybody's up actually watching on our end, but you know the game seemed to be pretty crowded from the standpoint of, you know, they're wearing their masks and they're doing the 6 feet social distancing thing. So Kiwoom beat Kia 3-2. Lot, I hope I'm pronouncing these right. Lot beat Kit KT 9-4. Doosan beat LG 5-2. Hanwha lost to SK 5-2 today, and NC beat Samsung 4-3. So those were the scores for the Korean Baseball League. And yesterday, we talked about several things. One thing we talked about was the bat flip. The other thing we were talking about is showing you a day in a game, at a game in Korea. And so we have some footage. Davis Cake takes us into the day of a Korean baseball game. Roll that beautiful footage.
Oi!
Baseball is Korea's most popular sport. So popular, they even have some players in the MLB, like this guy, and this guy. The energy here is crazy. They have chants for every single player, and the whole audience joins along as well. And of course, let's not forget about the cheerleaders.
There's a theme song for every baseball player.
You come to enough games, you know, like, when this player comes up.
Because of the song?
The song plays, you're like, oh.
Even if you don't see the scoreboard.
Oh, damn!
Oh, damn!
That's the sound of the walk.
This is fun, a lot of fun. If you're like me, you're always hungry. Don't worry, Korea's got you covered. They have the classical hot dogs, chicken in a box, chicken with chopsticks, chicken in his mouth, chicken in a box with hot sauce, chicken in a bowl on top of a beer cup. They got chicken everywhere. They love chicken. Don't even let me get started with squid.
You never expect to see like squid at a baseball game, never.
They got fried squid, dried squid, squid over here, squid over there, squid in a cup, and why not? Squid on a stick.
Welcome to Korean baseball game.
Gotta eat squid on a stick.
Oh man,
Just put it in.
oh dude, Korean baseball, squid on a stick, mayonnaise, we got soy sauce. It's so good, I'm gonna give it back to you, man.
And of course, let's not forget about the booze.
And I got soju here, they got beer.
Well, of course, they got soju on the rocks and a booty load of beer.
Oh, 맛있겠다.
And yeah, at this point, just have fun. So the next time you're in Korea, do yourself a favor and treat yourself to a Korean baseball game. Trust me, you won't regret it.
Cheers.
We thank Davies Cake for taking us into a day in a Korean baseball game. Guys, what are your thoughts? Seems to me like a large minor league baseball game.
Well, outside the United States, that's basically the baseball culture.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that in Latin countries, Mexico, Japan. So that's how it is. So we're the only country that goes to a baseball game and sits and be quiet, sits quietly and watch the game.
Just go out and watch the game. You're right.
It starts in high school. When y'all coaches tell the parents to stop talking to the kids.
That's totally different.
I know. Yes, indeed.
You can cheer all you want.
Yeah. You can cheer all you want, but you know that culture starts when the parents have.
Normally you have to sit in the dugout to be a coach.
Yes.
That's true.
Not in the stands with your hat on backwards.
Yes, sir.
But but that's the culture. That's the baseball culture around the world. So eventually, I think it's going to have to come here if they want to bring in the newer fans, because baseball is really not gaining any younger fans right now.
I do see a lot of them when I go to minor league games. Like we have a AA affiliate, Montgomery Biscuits here, AA affiliate of the Rays. You know, they constantly have something going in between innings. They're in the middle of the game. They're doing various things. They're keeping people entertained. They're keeping people pumped for the game. And I think you're right. In order, and by the way, they've seen their numbers and fans grow by doing this, because people are telling them, hey, we're having so much fun. You know, it's just not sitting watching the game anymore, because a lot of people say the game is too slow. And the game is slow for some people because a lot of them don't understand what's going on. They don't understand the game with that kind of, you know, if you don't understand something, you know, it's like in school. You didn't learn what you didn't like, right? And you didn't know, you didn't understand. So it's the same thing. A lot of people don't understand it, so it is slow to go. It's pretty fast to me. I mean, I personally, I hate to say this, I think softball is slower, but in reality it's actually a little bit quicker. But, you know, the same thing goes. So I think you're dead on when you say, you know, the age where kids are, or not necessarily kids, the fan base is aging, right? And if they're aging out, and now baseball is stuck trying to figure out, hey, how do we make this more entertaining again? I mean, I think taking a look at some of these overseas organizations and what they're doing, or even mimicking some of the things that they're doing in the minor leagues, is not probably going to be their best avenue in order to help build that attraction. But they better not wait till it's too late. So
they do a lot of screaming at softball games, a lot of singing.
Yeah, they do. I mean, my daughter. I mean, I'm that guy who sits behind right field fence, you know, left field fence somewhere. I don't mingle with everybody because I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get up there and try to start coaching her, so I just stay out of the way. But yeah, they do. There's a lot of screaming, a lot of stuff going on at softball games. It's a little bit more hype. I can't say that. I mean, softball players are there. They got the buckets. They got their own drum beats going. They got this whole rocket over there.
Yeah,
so I'm like, hey, I mean, y'all do your thing. I mean, it's good. I like it. I'll be honest with you. The way they're playing overseas reminds me of what I told y'all yesterday about the cable league, the summer league organization. I mean, they're rocking out there. You know, they're talking. They're joining each other, having a good time, but it's all in fun. And you know, same thing. I'm sure the same thing goes on over there and so on. So I turned it over to y'all. So, anybody any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I talk about my experience over there.
Yeah.
When I was over there, pretty cool. You know, like I think it was every 7th inning. So similar to like our 7th inning stretch when I was in Japan, they used to do this balloon thing. So everybody blew up these balloons, and when the bottom of the 7th came, they held them up and they let them go. So it'd be like a loud squeaking noise in the whole stadium, like, you know, like streamers. They did that, and then every major league team had bands too. So you know how, like, I think the A's have a band, right?
Yeah, they do out there.
So every team there, either they have a band or they have a certain group of fans who could bring instruments or something. They're banging them all game. It's just, you know, it's just loud, you know, and everybody's saying cheers. So it's definitely a different culture to the game, you know. So.
Like I said, they don't have to do something here in order to.
Yeah, back in the day, you know, baseball was about going to the game with your dad or your uncle or your mom or whoever as a kid, and you know, they teach you how to keep score, or you know, somebody said, watch that guy on first base, he's gonna steal right here. That, you know, basically bonding with somebody who's introducing the game to you. That, for the most part, doesn't happen anymore. You know, because again, if you talk to people my age or older, my generation, man or woman, you know, almost everybody talks about the man, older brother, uncle, dad, or somebody, even in some cases, even mom, who introduced baseball to them, either by playing catch or taking them to a game or whatever. But today's generation, you know, they don't have that. Especially, you know, today's generation, everything's right now with video games and you can pull up anything instantly on your phone, so it's hard to keep the kids' attention. So, you know, again, with baseball, if they want to start getting new fans, you know, it's fortunate or unfortunate depending on your perspective, but they're gonna have to do something different to get those new fans. You know, either introducing some technology some kind of way, or like I said, provide some in-stadium entertainment in between action.
I think the players of like Latin games and Latin countries are all over the world have a different kind of culture and how they cheer and how the players play the game with that kind of in that kind of environment. And so those players that are coming to the big leagues here in the U.S. a lot of them are bringing that with them. And some people I don't like it, but I think especially if we're going to be dealing with the younger fans down the road, I think that's a healthy environment, just as long as it's within reason.
Right.
So, with that being said, that leads us to our next clip, and it's going to play, and we can talk and we can do, but this is the bat flips. Now we're going to see some very exciting bat flips here. All right. So on your screens, you can hit that, click on that playback and make it big so you can see it. But I just want you guys to see some of the bat flips and some of the things that they're doing, and the pitchers, like me and Pete was talking about earlier. The pitchers, that they don't really care. It's just a part of it. As you can see, there's some tosses going on this.
Yeah, they put some stink on it, bro, for real. He threw that one on the field toward the pitcher. Oh! Look at this!
Look at that flip.
This looked like they did a comparison one year to the next.
Right.
Now they doing bat flips like wrestlers got moves, man.
Yeah.
Oh, look, he looking at it. Oh, and then he flipped it.
He tossed that baby.
Oh, these boys right here. Woo. Yeah, there would have been about 7 fights in the. Oh man. Oh.
See, that's the problem with the game is people want to fight the guy.
Ooh.
Yeah. Me as a catcher, it didn't really bother me about bat flips. You know, especially if you do one down the middle of the plate, then bat flip all you want. If a guy like Canseco bat flips, that didn't bother me.
Yeah.
But if a guy who hits 2 home runs every 2 years and starts bat flipping,
God,
that kind of bothered me. But.
Yeah, man. But these boys right here, man, it's not a big deal to them, and the pitchers I guess they don't really care that much.
Well, it's part of their culture.
Yeah. For us,
our culture is.
For us, it's disrespect.
Oh no, we're gonna have to show this disrespect.
Yeah.
So that's how that.
But that's part of the entertainment for them, though. That's the difference,
Yeah.
You want to flip.
I don't understand, so a pitcher, let's say you're a good pitcher. You strike a guy out.
I was going to go there.
50 to 200 times, you're a good pitcher, right? And they just pump, they do all this stuff after a strikeout.
Yeah, man.
Tell me the guy who hits the home run can celebrate 30 times a year, 20 times a year. He can't do a bat flip. He can't do something times a year. Come on, man.
Drew, you ever leaned into one like this, man? You ever leaned into one like this in when you was playing in Japan and did one of them bat flips? One of them.
Of course, they don't do it.
So you took advantage of it, man.
Hey,
yeah.
All I'm gonna say is this: Barry Bonds said, "If you don't want me to celebrate after hitting a home run, you need to strike me out."
Well, I tell you what, if you had Marvin on here, you probably have a whole bunch of
I know we'd be
arguments.
arguing and fussing right now. I know.
But
he'd be throwing balls at me all the way from Atlanta.
Now, let me ask.
That's the other thing too. The other argument. People think that throwing the ball at a guy's gonna change his, gonna change sign stealing or change the guy can celebrate. Dude's been stealing signs for 100 years and didn't hit no balls. That ain't gonna stop nobody from stealing those signs, man.
Thank you for the free base. We'll see you next game. Goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't a bat flip guy, but like if you hit a guy like Ricky Henderson or a base stealer, he's gonna steal second and third of it.
Right.
A guy like me, I wasn't a base stealer, so if you hit me, that means your second baseman's got to pay for it on a double play.
That's the unwritten stuff.
Unwritten rule.
Yeah.
I think never go ahead, Carl.
Well, and then as far as pitchers throwing at hitting guys, if there's no DH, then I'm okay with it. But when there's a DH and you throwing at guys, that never shows me anything. Because you don't have to hit. Your teammates basically taking the brunt of it.
Taking the brunt of it, you're right. I agree with that. So here in the U.S., this is what happens when you bat flip in a ball game. You roll that tape.
Did we roll it?
Wait a minute.
Oh yeah, here you go.
Do it again.
No, it's all right. They about to show the close up. They're gonna show the close up. Oh. Ooh. Ooh.
Now this is what happened.
Ooh. I didn't have that picture. I don't have that picture of. I couldn't get the picture of the next year when Odor punched him in the face at second base.
See, that wasn't because of the bathroom.
I know, I'm just saying.
But he showed me. He made his point though.
It started
there.
So I'm just saying. So yeah. Oh, you can't get it. You can't get it.
No,
the picture?
no, I couldn't get the picture. I have it. We'll show it. We'll show it another time.
No, that would have been so sweet. So guys, it's time to transition. Oh God, it is 7 o'clock already.
Bro, we started 15 minutes late, but let's get to it.
Yes. So
we started on time.
Yes, we did. Yeah. That's all right.
Mike, Mike, they own you today.
They own me, bro. They own me.
So guys, on yesterday we ended the show and we basically said we wanted to kind of talk about other opportunities that are in baseball, jobs that are available in baseball. That's kind of what we wanted to kind of lead into. And you guys, let's have fun. He had a story because he was brought into the Urban Youth Academy. So when we're talking about jobs, let's make sure we're talking about they're on the field jobs. Okay, this is for the audience. They're on the field jobs. There's coaching jobs. There's assistant coaching jobs. There's manager jobs. There's coordinator jobs, there's roving coaching jobs, there are whole lots of jobs. There's the field crew, there's things like that. Well, let me take that back. There are other opportunities in baseball, and that's kind of what we want to kind of talk about today. There's all the additional opportunities from being an analyst, from being commentators, to behind the scenes work like P does and like running the show, the production side of things. There are a multitude of jobs, general management, assistant GM, sales directors throughout for whether that's paraphernalia or it's actually ticket sales. There's various roles that are in baseball, and we just kind of want to talk about that briefly and go into it. So I was going to let P start out because he was telling me a story about him being brought into the Urban Youth Academy to talk about the communications and production, broadcast journalism. So, here you can go on that one.
Yeah, we last fall we did a class basically teaching the kids how to edit and how to produce, graphics and all that. Because there's also the broadcast side of baseball. You could be a broadcaster. You could be a producer, director. So there's lots of jobs in that. And actually, Doug Takanawa tried to get me there years and years ago. But I finally was able to get a bunch of equipment from work, and I literally taught 8 weeks of classes on Saturday mornings from 8 to 10 at the Urban Youth Academy over with Daryl and I think it's Golston, Rocky Golston. So, when I first got into the business, I was in college, and I heard a reporter come. I was actually taking business classes, and I heard a reporter come, and she was a black girl, and she just talked, and then I asked her, I said, how did you get into what you're doing? And she said, well, come and do an internship. Well, I did an internship because I said, hey, look, I like TV and I like sports. So I wound up doing an internship, and I've been working since I was 18 years old. So the bottom line is there's plenty jobs in broadcast, director, producer, writer, graphics artist, all of that. And baseball is just, one of the sports that, that needs all these people. So there's like a ton of jobs that you can do, and you can create a show like we doing right now. So.
True. Andrew?
Yeah, like you talked about, obviously scouting is a huge job to get into, and you don't need playing experience, to be a scout. It helps to have playing experience, but one of the most important things is just passion for the sport and being willing to learn. Scouting, front office work, whether it's data analyst. This is just the baseball operations side, obviously. And then, you have player development jobs where obviously coaching. You have administrative player development jobs where guys who, help run the facilities. What else they have? It's a ton of jobs, so it's a ton of possibilities.
Yeah, it used to be as a player, there's a good chance you could get a job as a coach when you're done playing. Now it seems like you have a better chance of getting a coaching job if you have a degree from Harvard.
Mm-hmm.
For real, that's how it is. The Phillies hired a guy last year or the year before. He went to college to play baseball. I don't think he played. He was there 4 years. Didn't have one at bat. He studied, I think, biomechanics or something. And then he went to where he worked for Driveline or one of those places for 4 or 5 years. And then the Phillies ended up hiring him, gave him a 3-year contract for $900,000 to be the hitting, I forget what his title was. He was the hitting something. He wasn't the hitting instructor, it was hitting.
It was like hitting analysis coordinator.
Something like that. $900,000 he didn't pay. Never stepped on the field in his life. And then you got all these guys that have played, still trying to get in the game and can't find a job. Now, I'm not saying it's good or bad, but that's just how it is. So if you a person who likes baseball, wants to get into baseball, wants to work for baseball, again, if you learn statistics, coding, biomechanics, anything that has to do with body movement, the Yankees and the Giants just hired 2 women hitting coaches. And they're suiting up for their major league teams. I have my stepdaughter, who I raised since she was 6 years old, right? Went to college, got her degree. She's been in baseball longer than I played baseball. She's been working for the Braves for the last 20 plus years. And never an athlete, never picked up anything. But she's been working in baseball longer than I have. Because she went and got her college degree. She first went to work with the Brewers, and then the person that hired her went to the Braves, brought her with her, and she's been there ever since. So, and then so anybody out there that's interested in a baseball or a sports job in general, there's a website called Teamwork Online. They post jobs from every sport you can imagine, from big leagues to the minor leagues, NFL, NBA, everything, NASCAR, from any kind of position you can think of. It's called teamworkonline.com. And they post sports jobs on there daily.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
There's opportunities or
Just thinking about people that have been in the game and have moved along from clubbies to equipment managers to ball boys that are a number of people like that are in big league positions because they have a passion, they hung in there, they love the game. And so then be interesting to see what stats are on front office people at the major league level who've never played the game. I mean, and it's I guess I think you have to have a little bit of both, but it's amazing what you see now where at the big league level, Harvard graduates and people that have degrees in different areas are very instrumental in how the club is put together and how it's run and even making the lineup. It's gotten crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the reality, today's reality. And then I remember working at the academy at one point. The grounds crew. People don't even realize how much money grounds crew people make. The Padres came to the academy one spring, or right before the season started, and they were looking for some people to come work part-time. And the pay for part-time was $37 an hour. To work in the grounds crew in the big leagues. So like a head grounds crew guy makes close to $1 million a year. And then a clubhouse guy, people don't even think about being a clubhouse guy. Those guys make over $1 million a year. 'Cause I can remember being in Houston, you got to pay the clubhouse guy. Well, when I was playing, it was like I don't even remember, $100 a month or something like that. And some of the guys had the big contracts. They would because they didn't want to pay every month. They would either pay them at the end of the year or they pay them twice a year. And I remember, I think it was Ken Caminiti went to the clubhouse guy and handed him a check for like $400,000 or something.
Wow.
Just one player. This is one player. So these guys, clubhouse guys, make $1 million a year. You figure you're getting probably a minimum of $1,000 a month per player.
Wow.
It's even more now, but that's when I was playing. So there's lots of opportunities out there for if people want to get in baseball or sports in general. You just got to, take the right avenue.
That is true. Excuse me. So here's a question that I'm going to pose, and you guys chime in. It's just a question. Don't jump down my throat. I'm just asking. And we've talked about this before briefly, but analytics and scouting, analytics and the front office people, analytics and development, technology. Where do you guys sit with the implementation of those things as a part of the development phase, and then on the scouting? Because Andrew, because I know you are into the analytics side of it. So the question basically is, what's your take on the utilization of technology to help in the development phases of players? Is it helping? Is it hurting? Is it a standalone? That's all that's needed, or is the eye still needed? That guy who has the wisdom and has seen guys, and can he take his eye and then apply that technology to help enhance a player? Or what's your take?
Yeah, analytics is good. It's not anything new. It's just become more advanced. I played for Earl Weaver. Earl Weaver used analytics. He started platooning players. So he knew what every player was hitting against every pitcher in the league. So he knew who to pinch hit against who. He knew what you were hitting on the grass. He knew what you were hitting during the day, at night, all that stuff. So technology just allows that stuff to happen a lot faster and more efficiently. But I think what has to happen is there needs to be common sense with this stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's what the problem a lot of people have with it is. It's just analytics and nothing else.
Nothing else, right?
Like Orb said, they're sending lineups from upstairs. Which makes absolutely no sense for somebody who's never even put on a uniform to be making a lineup for a manager. Okay, you don't know who's swinging the bat well, who's feeling well, who's sick that day, any of that stuff, and they're sending a lineup down. And if you guys remember a couple of years ago when the Dodgers, I think it was a playoff game, and I don't remember the pitcher, but the pitcher was dealing. I don't think he even had it. It was into the seventh inning, didn't even have 80 pitches yet. But the analytics said it was time for him to come out.
Right, yes, yeah.
And he took him out of the game and ended up blowing the game.
Right.
So again, the common sense has to be used with this stuff because everybody that has ever played knows that on any given day, anybody can be Cy Young or Babe Ruth that day. Me as a catcher, if the analytics says this guy doesn't hit the slider very well, that's great. But if my pitcher slider is crappy that day, throw the analytics out the window. Now we got to make an adjustment and figure out how we're going to get this guy out because this guy's slider is not working today. So again, that's where the stuff has to be some middle ground and some common sense with this stuff.
So has it gotten so in Orb, you guys were just there, so Drew, you still in it. Has it gotten to the point where front office is sitting down everything and a manager, only thing he's trying to manage is the attitudes and the egos, or the manager still has the ability to make those types of decisions? Or is he taking everything from the front office? I'm just wondering.
Yeah, see, I think every organization is different. And I think a lot of the organizations that have good clubs, they let their managers the managers create really good relationships with all their players.
Right.
And so for me, that's more important. I'm not saying either that analytics aren't a part of what we need to win, but there's something, and it depends on. There's so many variables, just like we talked about. With the whoever, it's the matchups, and
right.
I mean, it's just gotten crazy. But I mean, you have to be on top of it, and a lot of it is just gut. I know a lot of guys that I was around over the years, the managers, they were gut guys, and so they went on. A lot of it was on gut, but so it's all different. But you know what? I mean, Drew, you could probably have a good thing to say to us about all of that because you're in the scouting part of it.
Yeah, I think for every, like Orb said, every organization is different now. I think it's a little overblown that that they're sending lineups down. Every team, some teams are that. I've heard some teams are doing that for sure, but I think it's not every team. It's not. I don't even think it's over half the teams. I don't think it's that way. I think most of the teams, it's a collaboration between the analysts and the managers. Is a collaborative effort, to try to win ball games. But as a whole, I look at analytics as just more information.
Right.
Analytics can't do it by itself. Scouting can't do it by itself. Player development can't do it by itself. Like, why not have more information to make decisions? It's all about decision making, right?
Hey, Dad. My bad. My dad said, hey, y'all. Hey, Dad. How you doing? My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah. For me, it's all about decision making, right? Do you want more information or less information to make the decision?
I want as much information as I can to make a decision.
Right. So that's my biggest thing. It's all about give me every piece of information and let's go through it. It might be something in that information to give us an edge, and it's also how you interpret the information. Because every team is probably getting the same information. So it's also about how you interpret the information. But for me, it's more information is a good thing. You know, it's all about that collaborative effort. It needs to have someone deciphering the information. It needs to be a collaboration between, you know, the manager looking and saying, you know what, we don't need all this. You know, this is the main things we need. And the analyst might say, you know, okay, yeah, I see that. Let's cut this fat down and give you a report that's a lot less than the actual report that we're getting. You know, on the scouting side, right? They talk about, you hear a lot of stuff, but they're talking about getting rid of scouts, or lessening scouts. Well, a computer can't find out this kid's makeup. They don't know how this kid is thinking. They don't know how he's feeling. They don't, you know, it's just a lot of things like that they don't the computer can't tell you. All the computer can tell you is a result, right? Of something that happened in the past, right? The computer can't tell you, it only can give you a probability of something happening in a vacuum, right? It doesn't know if you're sick that morning. So the numbers might say you're going to struggle against it. I mean, you're going to do well against this pitcher today. But if you woke up sick or you having problems at the house, I mean, anything, you know, and you come to the ballpark, you might be the greatest hitter against this pitcher, but today your chances of hitting them are much less than before. So, I mean, that's the biggest thing. I think it just needs to be a equal collaborative effort. And then one last thing to go on that is that's all right. Go ahead, Carl. I see you was going. I kind of slipped my mind what I was going to say.
Oh, well, yeah, I agree. I'm the same way. I love as much information as I can get. But again, the problem is when they're telling me what I need to do with that information, that's when it becomes a problem.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
Yeah, because I've heard from one particular team, big league players, when they came to the clubhouse, their daily routine was written out on their chair for them, what they should do that day, how their pregame routine, their batting practice, and even how they should play the game. And then that same organization had a philosophy of when you get a man on second base, you should take a strike. You know, again, some guys like doing that, but not everybody's that way. You know, I know I wasn't. And then Orb knows this as a catcher. You know, when you're catching a pitcher, the manager will ask you all the time, "How's his stuff?" You know, the pitcher may say, "You know, I feel good," but you ask the catcher, like, "He ain't got it no more," or he may have a high pitch count, but he still got it. Leave him in there. You know, let him go another inning. Okay, you know, all that stuff, you can't predict that stuff with a computer. You know, so again, that's where the common sense stuff has to come in.
Yeah.
And then again, that's where the sharing of the information with the coaching staff and the manager, knowing your players.
Right.
And that is huge because all that analytic stuff, it comes into play, but then it's what's going on with that kid today. He might come into your office before the ball game starts and goes, "Hey, coach, I don't think I can do it today. I'm really not well." Or he may come in and say, "Yeah, you know what? I'm not doing that well. I don't feel that good, but I still want to be in the lineup." So those are kinds of variables that you have to deal with. But
right.
that kind of information isn't available if the coaching staff doesn't have a good relationship with their players.
Right.
and ability to read your players.
Exactly.
Pick guy that may have the spot start today. Give me the ball, coach. You got the guy that wants the ball, and you have the guy that well, I didn't really prepare for the start this day. And you go through all that kind of stuff. And I played with Rafael Ramirez. I don't know if you guys remember him. He was the year I played with him. He was probably hitting about 240, 250, whatever it was. And so the analytics probably would say, we get in a close game in a situation, you probably want to pinch hit for him. But one of the coaches told me that, he's hitting 240, but in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, he's hitting like 350. When the game's on the line. So he becomes a different player when the game's on the line. When the first 5, 6, 7 innings, he's just kind of going through the motions. But once the game's on the line, his intensity goes up and he becomes a better hitter. And again, if as a coach, a manager, whether you have a relationship with your players, you can see that kind of thing. You know who to call on in certain situations, as well as who not to call on.
And on top of that, as a coach, as a manager, you have that ability to now, okay, if this is because we see that number, right? He's hitting better in the later innings because there's more pressure, there's more stress. Then we need to, and that's where like a Steve Springer or Lenore comes into play for us, right? Helping them change that mindset and be that player from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. So that those tendencies, that's as a manager, that's why those are the things that I want to know about, from my analytics people. What's happening on this day? But I'm not saying this should be your routine, because now you're becoming a robot, and I'm programming you.
Right.
And you're not going to perform that way. I mean, nobody wants to perform as a robot. So.
Yeah, because I remember when I was with the Astros, we were playing the Padres, and we thought we were going to outsmart Tony Gwynn, right? So we have our pregame meeting, and the manager goes, "Okay, we're going. Tony Gwynn. This is where the stats said this is where Tony Gwynn's been getting all his hits, towards the left field line. So we're going to take our left fielder, put him right on the line, move the center field over, with the shortstop over. Get in the game that night. Tony Gwynn gets 3 hits, drops it right in front of where the guy was playing. When he moved him over, he just drops the 3 hits right in front of him. So again, analytics are good, but the human factor plays a big part too.
Human factor plays. Now that's the point I want to make. The human factor plays a major part, especially at this game. I'm just saying. It's like they say in football, any given Sunday. Well, this is baseball. Any given day, somebody can be the X factor and change the outcome of a game that was supposed to be won by somebody else, and now it's been won by that team. So, yeah. So, anything else, guys? Before we get ready to close out here, 7:18. We should be done at 7:25 at the latest. So, anything you got? Anything else you want to say on that, or anything else you want to say regarding anything throughout the show? Here's that time frame that you have, and then I close out with a couple of quotes that I like to. I'm a quote guy. I like to leave the kids and the fans with a little bit of information, a little tidbit for the day.
I'll tell a story that Jim Lefevre told me. Jim Lefevre he was actually Griffey's first big league manager. And he was a rookie of the year with the Dodgers in '65. And he used to go sit in the pitchers' meetings before the games. He liked to learn. So he said they were playing the Braves, and they had Koufax, Drysdale, whoever the other, Claude Osteen, whoever the other pitchers were at the time. And they were going through the lineup. And, so Walter Austin would ask each pitcher what they had on the hitter. Okay, so Ralph Guard comes up, leadoff hitter. Don Drysdale, he'll chase the high fastball when he gets behind the count. He'll also chase balls in the dirt. And then they get to the second hitter. You can pitch him in with the fastball, challenge him, that kind of thing. Whoever the second hitter was.
Right.
Third hitter was Hank Aaron. So they get to Hank Aaron, and Walter Austin says, "Okay, what do you guys got on Hank Aaron?" And nobody says anything. It was just quiet. Okay, remember you got Don Sandy Koufax there, and nobody said anything. So after about a minute of silence, Walter Austin goes, well, just make sure nobody's on base when he comes up. Who's the next hitter? Because basically he gets everything, so that's what they were saying.
Right.
So he said, well, just make sure nobody's on base when he comes up. Who's the next hitter? Which was Eddie Matthews.
Carl, so that 1965 Dodger club, Carl, they had an all switch hitting infield. Do you remember who they were?
Jim Gilliam, Maury Wills, Wes Parker, and I don't remember who the fourth one was.
The guy you just mentioned, the guy you just talked about, Jimmy Lefevre.
Jim Lefevre, that's right.
But most people miss Parker. A lot of people don't get Parker.
Oh, I remember Wes Parker. Well, I grew up in LA, so.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I definitely remember that. That's why. That's right, because that's why Eddie Murray was a switch hitter. Because he said him and his brother used to imitate those guys in their backyard, and that's how. So he
became a switch hitter. Mm-hmm.
Well, he actually didn't start until he got to AA, but he would mess around with it all the time because of those guys. They were imitating the infielders.
Wow. All right, Andrew, you're on silent. There you go.
No, so my biggest thing is from today is just always try to keep yourself in learning mode, man. It's just always trying to add something to the toolbox, because as we see the game changes, any industry you're in, have changes. So the more you want to, the more that you're interested in adapting to the industry, or willing to learn the new things, new technology, new information, is going to keep your shelf life in that industry longer. That's my take on it. Instead of just trying to buck the system and being, just going left when everybody's zigging to right, find your niche into that zig, and so that way you can stay in the game longer. If not, you might have to find something else to do, because the game it'll pass you by, and they don't care who you are. So
the game is definitely going to move on. Or
yeah, I mean I don't have anything more to offer. I mean, what we talked about is all right on as far as I'm concerned, and you have to deal with what you have, and you can't make cookie cutters, and you can't make robots out of people that are not going to be like you want them to be. You have to be able to deal with each individual.
Right. Yeah.
Or with all that experience you got, man, it's hard to argue with a guy with a profile pic of him getting a lap dance from the World Series trophy. It's kind of hard, bro. You know what you're doing. You've been around a while.
I just happened to be there. 89 years, 2004. The neat thing is, you're down 3-0 to the Yankees. You come back and beat them.
Oh, dude,
that was kind of the big deal. But then we go on to beat the Cardinals.
Yeah, that was double win.
Series. Yeah.
The first team to come back from 3-0.
Yeah.
Pete Mike, I like that. Get a lap dance from the World Series trophy.
Well, that's what he's getting right there. If you look to your right, you see what he's got on his lap right there, man.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying? Much love, man. 30 years in the game, we definitely listening to the right guy.
So guys, we're at the end of the show. We really appreciate you guys. As normal, we've had a great show, great information again. Information that we put out, great content. So here's my 2 quotes for the day. And this goes to, guys that are wanting to be in the business, whether that's as a player, whether that's, in some capacity, being in the game of baseball. Professional level or collegiate level, because we didn't get into the collegiate side of this. But those are still some things that are there. We can cover that later. But here's my quote. This is from first ballot Hall of Famer Derek Jeter. There may be people that have more talent than you, but there's no excuse for anyone to work harder than you. Right? First one. 2 is from Mark Spitz, 9-time Olympic swimming champion. If you fail to prepare, you're prepared to fail. So I'll leave you guys with those two quotes of the day. This is time for us to roll our credits or whatever we're going to do.
You want to go ahead on and read the disclaimer that we've committed to? Let me get you locked up, and you got it going. Let me get your little music going. Go ahead.
I'm trying to make it big so I can. Here we go. National Scouting Bureau is an equal opportunity company that views outside guests, commentators, or advertisers of the WePlayBaseball Podcast do not always reflect the views of the NSP. All right, there is the WePlayBaseball Podcast content are the sole proprietor of Athletic Games 60, the parent company of the National Scouting Bureau. Again, guys, ladies and gentlemen, audience, we thank you guys for tuning in. So tell your friends about us. Let them know what we're doing here. Let them know that we're putting out content, great information for baseball lovers, baseball fans, players. Our entire job here is to make sure that we're getting information out to you guys. So again, we thank you, and we look forward to seeing you guys. See you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow I think we'll be on Friday. See you guys tomorrow. Fans, friends, love you guys. Y'all be safe out there. Practice social distance. Deal is not over with. Continue that so we can get back so we can play some baseball.
Baseball. We don't own the rights to this music, brother, but you know we do like it.
We don't own the rights to this music, but we do love it.
Thank you.
Y'all have a great evening.